today we're talking about everyone's favorite topic, superbugs.
What?
I feel like
everyone's favorite topic.
We just haven't had enough about superbugs.
Wasn't it like the Super Bowl halftime show? Isn't that everyone's favorite topic?
That is true. That is true. There was a lot going on about that.
All right, superbugs.
But there's some new studies coming out that are saying that climate change is affecting the amount of superbugs that have been popping up around the place.
Interesting.
So what's your what could you tell us about superbugs?
Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, superbugs are, I guess you could call them regular bacteria who have survived the gauntlet of human created penicillins and
they've been able to
antibacterial efforts by humans, right? They've survived and
they've adapted.
They've changed their genes to their survival genes. They've passed it on to other bacteria and they've kind of mutated. Yeah, mutant bacteria that is armored.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think of it any way you want, but
yeah. And now they're saying that climate change is another add-on to them mutating.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the mutation is that they survive better in warmer or I mean, the body's hot, for a reason, right? And so, but yeah, if they're mutating to be able to survive in warmer and warmer environments, then that makes sense. If the Earth is getting warmer, then that they'd adapt that way.
Yeah. So what is like the average human body temperature?
I mean, 98 basically, okay. And so funguses don't. We talked about funguses last episode, Last of Us. They don't do well at that temperature, but. Climate change is, I mean, the Earth getting warmer, and there's lots of things that affects, and so, yeah, this one specifically is an interesting one. I mean, you've got climate change, probably, maybe more the things that we're doing that cause climate change, pollution and other things that probably do a lot more damage, like cancer-causing things, most likely,
Yeah, so superbugs, who knows if that's even the real issue.
Well, I mean, superbugs are bad. You do want to. It's hard. It's probably hard to measure. Like, I mean, there are known, species that have evolved, and they have. Antibiotics that are last line antibiotics. So if you do encounter a MRSA, which is basically staph that doesn't respond well to it's a superbug, right?
Yeah.
So they have we do have antibiotics. So the problem is you've got people that you get sick, you go to the doctor, they give you antibiotics, right? Mm-hmm. You take it for a couple of days, you feel better. And so you're like, I don't need the rest of these,
Yeah.
And that doesn't, and you haven't killed you haven't killed everything, and so it gives the chance for that mutation to happen, for the survivability to be increased, and then it proliferates and spreads, and that's really hard to do. Like, how would you fix that? You could, you have to go in to the doctor every time you take antibiotic. But then what if you just don't finish? You don't show up anymore because you feel better, right?
Yeah.
So at hospitals they do have last line antibiotics where they really only give them out at the hospital while you're hospitalized, and they give you the whole course, right? They make sure that it kills. So, but yeah, if you run out of antibiotics and you've got a superbug, then you've got problems.
So how fast can a superbug mutate in you?
So that's the question that's interesting because, like, if you look at antibiotics, they haven't been around for very long in the history of everything, right? Mm-hmm. And so for them to have mutated, like if you look at like survival of the fittest for humans, you know, like how long did it take, you know, for our tails to go away or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like the evolution like seems very slow. And since you know, antibiotics came in and superbugs appeared, like it's a very short amount of time. So I think that like on that micro scale, like on the bacteria level, that probably the mutations are happening a lot more quickly than we would observe with like mammals or things like that. So yeah, I don't know exactly how quickly, but it seems like it's pretty quick.
It's faster than we would like.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, if you extrapolate and expand it, you know, 40, 50 years into the future, then yeah, maybe you have a lot of, I mean, that's probably the best thing. I think universally, like, yes, if you global warming, if you do everything you can to, you know, not contribute to global warming in all the ways that, you know, scientists say that we contribute, that obviously, you know, I guess would help defend against the rise of superbugs. But absolutely, you know, I think everyone agrees that the best thing that someone could do to, you know, to combat the superbug is just to finish your antibiotics, right? Yeah. Just finish them. Just take all the pills that they give you. That's the best thing that you can do.
So antibiotics, what other ways are there to help get rid of superbugs in our environment?
I mean, yeah, so like other you know, antimicrobial things exist. You've got you know, chemical cleaners, using them correctly. I mean, the main thing is just the stuff that is effective at killing germs now, you know, bacteria now, you want to make sure that it has the opportunity to like fully work. Yeah. That's the point of finishing the whole course of the antibiotic, so that nothing's left. The good news is like from a surface disinfection perspective, you know, if you have a superbug, you know, it's passed on its genes to other bacteria and created the superbug. Well, you've got what we do, right? UV light, and that kills genes, right? That kills that disrupts the DNA, and that's like it's a deep down killing, right? Mm-hmm. So you know, UV light will probably become increasingly important moving forward. From surface disinfection, obviously you can't swallow a PhoneSoap, and
of course, you don't want to put lights in your body.
That's bad. But like on a surface, then you know it does good job of killing the bacteria, and it can't like. Not just that it's you know, a chemical cleaner may like explode the cell, for example, right? Yeah. Or dehydrate the cell, but like UV light disrupts the bacteria so it can't reproduce. That's like super effective.
So one thing that I've always wondered, and a lot of people ask this too, is like over the past couple of years, more people have been more germ conscious and sanitizing, cleaning, like, and using UV sanitizers and such. A lot of people have questioned is our over obsession with disinfecting things contributing to superbugs, or how would you explain that to somebody?
Yeah. So I think, I mean, the pandemic was bad on like many levels, right? Economically, you know, emotionally, mental health wise, you know, physically, like on just so many levels. But, you know, if you're looking for silver linings, like there's some things that we've hypothesized about that, you know, once the pandemic hit, you really got to see. And one of them was that, which was, very interesting studies that came out of COVID. You know, one of them was that the amount of, SARS-CoV-2 that you were exposed to, did that have an effect on the severity of your disease, right? Like how many little viruses you were exposed to, did that have an effect? And the studies showed that, you never had like the whole world studying one bug so intensely, all resources basically, just kind of focused on that. And so there were studies that showed, if your illness was worse if you were exposed to more, right? Of SARS-CoV-2. So, the point of like what we do at PhoneSoap, like killing germs, right, on surface, like the point isn't ever to like eliminate all germs, forever all the way. That's just like not something that's possible to do. You know, you wash your hands and then to get them clean, but then you go and do something to get them dirty again. It seems like it's like brushing your teeth, right? Your kids will be like, why do I have to brush my teeth? Because they just get dirty again, right? And so the point is just to keep like the amount of bacteria, low enough so that it's easier for the body to handle, keep the plaque down, that's the purpose right there. So it's not we don't want to eliminate all germs, because that's kind of the second part of like what came out of COVID was, okay, everyone's been like isolated for a really long time. And when everyone gets back together, is everyone going to get like super sick? Yeah. Like with everything. And I think that the we're starting to like, that's the part of the journey that we're on right now, which is we're starting to see if that's true or not. And the jury's still out there kind of, like illnesses that weren't a big deal ever in previous cold and flu seasons, right? Maybe this year have kind of cropped up, and there's been articles about that. Maybe that's a topic for a different day, but the jury's still out on that one. So it's all very interesting. And COVID was bad. Nobody liked it, but there were at least the answer to some of those questions, COVID might have helped us get the answer to some of those.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I've always found that interesting because, you wash your hands, you clean your phone, whatever, but you're still exposed to bacteria. And like you said, you don't want, there is no way to like completely get rid of all bacteria, but you want to be able to make it so that your body can handle it and not get overwhelmed with the immune system and with a bunch of bacteria and things like going into you. Yeah.
And like, well, throughout history and, we've moved into cities and when cities were, the big cities were new and sanitization wasn't, things weren't sanitary. It wasn't a big thing. And, especially with the waterways and things, right? Like you had like plagues. So obviously it's good to be, as a society, to be fastidious, not to like eliminate all, bacteria, but definitely like there's a lot of proof out there that like now, especially with COVID, like very specifically about COVID, but like in general, that combined with all the other data that we have from the CDC publishing, like the best way to prevent the spread of illness is just to wash your hands, Yeah. And so it does help. It reduces the amount of bioburden on a surface that you're exposed to. And if it's low enough, then your body can like, take care of it before it becomes overwhelmed and has to like elicit a large immune response to, and like makes you feel pretty sick, or before the disease can get out of hand. So it's really important to like be clean but there's no need to like overdo it at the same time. Yeah. So like people sometimes ask me how often should I use my phone soap or my home soap, right? And really honestly, like the phone's funny because it became this thing that we invented where everything that you could possibly touch in the world that's dirty, ends up on your phone because you touch your phone so often in between all those activities.
Yeah.
And so we created this artificial spot for all the bacteria to gather, right? And so it became necessary to, clean this object that is, unnaturally, germy.
Yeah. And it's warm and you keep it in your pocket.
Yeah. And we've said it before many times, like it's a petri dish in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes important to like disinfect that, not so that it can be 100% lickety split clean, but just to keep the amount of bioburden down so that if like there are germs on it, that it's a small amount, an amount that your body can handle and deal with before like making you really sick.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. So this has been informative to me.
Cool.
And I hope everyone listening has learned something as well, and to be a little more germ conscious and to not be too afraid of these superbugs that are going around. Just wash your hands, clean your phone. Anything else?
Yeah, just the normal stuff. Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth. Brush your teeth.
No, I like the brushing the teeth example because it's like, what happens if you don't brush your teeth at all? Right? You get lots of plaque buildup.
Yeah.
And if you just do it regularly, then it's not like you don't have any. You go to the dentist and they always like scold you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, are you brushing? Yes. Well, you should do better. But
yeah, in
general, like, our culture, our society, like has really good, dental hygiene in general. And so that's what it's all about. Use PhoneSoap once a day and it will keep the bioburden generally pretty low. Your body can probably handle it.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, when so much was unknown and there wasn't a lot of solutions to like SARS-CoV-2, then it's like every time you come back in the house, like you should disinfect everything that went out into the world. But like, on a regular basis, just like brush your teeth, regularly, clean your phone regularly, wash your hands regularly, and should be good.
Sweet. All right. Thanks again for coming to this, Wes. And thanks for watching and listening. See you guys.